Hello, YouTube. My name is Big Boy Snatch on TV, aka what kind of Snatch one, because I got plenty going around. This is my AEW Dynamite review on highlights. So if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys please full watch the video from all the way from the beginning all the way towards the end. Hit that like button, subscribe to my channel for more rest content that I do on the channel, where I give you guys the full review, not the half my review. I'm on the road to 10K and become a YouTube partner, so make sure you guys please run my playlist for some watch time hours. Alright, without further ado, let's get started. And go check out my WWE NXT review on highlights I posted on the channel yesterday, because it was a good show last night. And I gave that show a 9.5 out of 10. All right, let's get started. Now, AEW Dynamite was a decent show, and I give it a 6 out of 10. It says AEW Dynamite was live from Mission Ballroom in Denver, Colorado. It says then there is no ballroom bliss, but there is IS at Firefest. We open with the Dynamite intro, which immediately tells me how we handle this for our special. LOL before heading to ringside. Dynamite Firefest. As commentary hypes up the night ahead, we go backstage. We see Mark Briscoe walking and talking on the phone, followed by a quick promo from Tony Storm, and with a slight goof on cutting a ringside was about Mercedes Moné. Back at ringside, Tony Schiavone introduced Will Ospreay to a big pop as he heads down to the ramp towards the ramp. We we will hear from Will Ospreay. This was a good segment by Will Ospreay. We take a look back at the heated words between Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland, with Swerve Strickland at ringside saying he never wanted to get into a fight with Swerve Strickland. He also acknowledges how hard it is to get them to work together, but they're not the enemy. The enemy is John Moxley. If they can just set their issues aside from one, not just get the belt back from John Moxley, and then they can kill each other. John Moxley talks about how much he hates what AEW has become, and Will Ospreay has an idea for him. Pissed off. He talks about the state of AEW and how it only sucked because John Moxley is World Heavyweight Champion right now. Will Ospreay then says he told Swerve Strickland to think about the bigger threat, but he thinks Swerve Strickland might be a threat. Swerve Strickland has made it clear he wants to keep Page from winning the world title, so he may have to step in and stop Swerve Strickland. He calls out Swerve Strickland for a match at Summer BlockBuster. Swerve Strickland, Swerve Will Ospreay too. He is quickly interrupted by, of all people, the CRU stepping out onto the stage. Aston Andrade makes fun of Will Ospreay for his little chat with Tony Schiavone before being interrupted by the "Shut the F up" chant by the crowd. Action Andrade tells the crowd to shut their mouths before having Leo Rush speaks up. Leo Rush says if there's one thing he knows about Brits is they like to talk, and Will Ospreay is doing a lot of yapping. Leo Rush says he got a lot of pent up anger and a point to prove. He thinks the bigger problem is AEW. It's Will Ospreay who sees the light at the challenge before telling Swerve Strickland he sees him next week. We cut to a vintage of Mark Briscoe talking about his passing out at the hands of John Moxley was not him quitting, and how he looks to take the fight to AEW World Champion tonight on Firefest. Back at ringside, John Moxley enters through the crowd with Wheeler, Yuta, and Maria Shafir for our opening match of the evening. Out next is Mark Briscoe, and this match gets underway. So we get the grudge match, non-title match, AEW World Champion, AEW World Champion, John Moxley versus Mark Briscoe. This is a good match. So this all I gotta say. This was a good match. What it was. The two-man lockup with John Moxley being taken to the ropes. Mark Briscoe doesn't take long to send the champ to the outside, laying in some hard strikes, taking John Moxley towards the barricade for some mounted punches. John Moxley retreats to the ring as Mark Briscoe follows, taking some punishment from the champ before fighting back from the corner. John Moxley sends him to the ropes, but Mark Briscoe slips under for a right hand to take control. A few more punches before he takes to the ropes, only for John Moxley to catch him with a boot. Mark Briscoe heads to the corner where he is attacked by the champ. John Moxley brings him back to the ropes for more punishment on the face, and then attacks Mark Briscoe next. Before the referee intervenes, he takes Mark Briscoe to the corner, but the former ROH World Champion fights back with a shoulder to the midsection before sending John Moxley to the floor for a baseball slide. Wheeler Yuta tries to intercept but gets kicked away, giving John Moxley the opening to dodge the opening senton by Mark Briscoe. John Moxley fights back in the ring, and Mia Shafir distracts the referee, allowing Wheeler Yuta to attack Mark Briscoe on the floor outside. The crowd lets Wheeler Yuta know what they think of him as John Moxley leaves the ring, taking Mark Briscoe to the barricade for some punches of his own. As we go to a full commercial break on AEW, or maybe not, as Wheeler and Maria Shafir marks Mark Briscoe. There's a break. All right. Back from commercial break, John Moxley has brought Mark Briscoe back in the ring for some more damage in the corner before taking Mark Briscoe down for a near fall. Mark Briscoe fights back with some chops, but the champ sends him to the ropes, only to face some only to face some redneck kung fu from Mark Briscoe. He takes John Moxley to his limit, forcing the champ to the outside where Mark Briscoe launches himself for a dive. He gets up on the announcer table as the crowd cheers for him. Before Mark Briscoe brings John Moxley back in the ring for a cover, but John Moxley kicks out at two. Both men are on their feet, trading strikes. John Moxley gets the upper hand for a moment before Mark Briscoe lands some hard chops on the champ and a shoulder tackle off the ropes. Mark Briscoe sets up John Moxley for a J driller, but the champ counters for a short arm lariat. He looks for a paragon shift, but faces the same result from Mark Briscoe, who goes up top for a froggy bowl, only for John Moxley to catch him for a near naked choke. Mark Briscoe managed to fight out of the choke, but John Moxley gets a cross arm breaker locked in for Mark Briscoe crawls to the ropes for the break. He leaves the ring as the referee gets distracted, allowing Wheeler Yuta to slam Mark Briscoe against the ring steps before Maria Shafir sends him back in the ring. Crowd once again tells Wheeler Yuta off as Mark Briscoe fights back to his feet for a J Driller, sending the champ down hard on the mat. He crossed over he crossed over he crossed over for the cover, but John Moxley managed to narrowly kick out before the 3 count. Mark Briscoe sets him up on the turnbuckle, setting the champ up on his shoulders for a weird maneuver, but John Moxley fights out of it, looking for a bulldog choke on Mark Briscoe instead. Mark Briscoe fights to his feet as he heads to the corner, getting John Moxley on his shoulders for a 2 count. But John Moxley still has the hold locked in. John Moxley is fading fast as he's out cold, forcing the referee to call for the bell. The winner of the match, John Moxley. This was a good match between John Moxley and Mark Briscoe. But John Moxley needs to drop the AEW World Championship to somebody. Cause I'm tired of John Moxley as AEW World Champion. That's all I gotta say. Video package. A look at C Mill's finest luchador, Malisco. Back at ringside, Mercedes Moné makes her way out to commentary for our next match as we head to commercial break. So we go to commercial break. We're back from commercial break. We see Mercedes Moné gets her own personal commentary table at stake dinner and everything as Thomas Tony Storm makes her way out next. She enters the ring before Mina Sakura makes her entrance next to a nice pop from the crowd, followed by the arrival of Julia Hart in Sky Blue before this match gets underway. So we get a AEW World Champion Thomas Tony Storm and Mina Sakura versus Sky Blue and Julia Hart. Mercedes Moné on commentary. This is a tag team match. This match was decent tag team match. We start off with Mina and Sky Blue, who go at it before Mina makes the tag to the Women's World Champion for a double team in the cover for a near fall. Tony Storm tags Mina back in for some more damage, but Sky Blue sends her to the corner for a forearm and a tag to Julia Hart. Despite fighting back, Mina gets trapped in a tarantula by Julia Hart as we get a look at Mercedes Moné doing anything but actually being on commentary. Tony Storm tries to intervene but gets sent into the barricade, allowing Mercedes Moné to make fun of her as we go to the full commercial break. All right, we're back from commercial break. Scott Blue is in control as she tags in Julia Hart, but Mina fights back before looking for a tag. No, Julia Hart sends the champ off the apron to keep her away as she and Scott Blue lays into Mina before Storm rushes into the ring. Julia Hart takes her down before sending Mina to the corner for some strikes until Mina leaps off the turnbuckle, sending Julia Hart to the mat. Mina crawls over to make the tag, and Tony Storm unloads on Scott Blue, who tags in as well, taking Sky Blue to the mat with a Luther press. Mina comes rushing in for some strikes as well, and she and Mina looks to embrace when Julia Hart and Sky Blue intervenes, only to be sent away with German suplexes by Tony Storm and Mina. Does two shimmies at Sky Blue and Julia Hart crawls to the corner, only to be taken out with a pair of hip attacks before Tony Storm looks locks in the TCM chicken wing on Julia Hart for the victory. The winner by submission, Thomas Tony Storm and Mina Sakura. This was a decent tag team match. The two embrace before Tony Storm confronts Mercedes Moné on the outside, forcing the CEO to retreat as Tony Storm enjoys the meal Mercedes Moné left behind. That part was funny. Alright. Backstage, Will Ospreay interview about next week is interrupted by MJF, who looks for an opportunity to point out that Will Ospreay can't beat Hangman Adam Page and can't get Hangman Adam Page and Strickland to work together. Will Ospreay scoffs at this, saying MJF doesn't want Hangman Adam Page to win because he can't beat him either. He starts to walk off when MJF asks him how his son is doing, which rallies him up. But the Hart Syndicate pops in to keep him from getting some revenge. MVP says that the Hurt Syndicate have business elsewhere tonight, wishing Will Ospreay the best of luck tonight before they walk off with that. We go to commercial break. All right, we're back from commercial break. We head to ringside where the Hurt Syndicate gets a great reaction from the crowd on their way down the ramp. So we'll hear from the Hurt Syndicate, Bobby Lashley, MJF, MVP, and Shelton Benjamin. This was a good segment. The crowd chants the crowd chants for each man to get the group as MVP points to them, except for MJF, who gets a curious boost. MVP introduced the group before pointing out that Bobby Lashley used to live in this area to a great pop, but now that he's lived in Texas, which gets heavy boost. What is Bobby Lashley's opinion on Denver? Bobby Lashley puts his hand out and get before giving the city a thumbs down to a bit of boos from the crowd. AEW is where the best wrestler and he is standing by the best tag team in the business. If this is where the best wrestler were are the best tag teams, they're in your imagination because there is no one capable of being the standard excellent in the almighty for the tag titles. With that show some respect for the young genius MJF. The crowd shows no respect for MJF as he is handed the microphone. MJF was once gold just like his best friends Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin, and he wants to get back his world championship. This means he has to start wrestle again, and that brings him to Mexico in a couple weeks. He talks about Mexico's supposed top guy and Malistico. The people of Mexico believe Malistico is the best in the world, but that can't be true because MJF is. When MJF stepped into Malistico's home country, he sold out the arena. He was the youngest forgotten to do so because he's a megastar. If you don't believe him, Happy Glamour 2 comes out July 25th. He thinks Malistico is a small fish in a smelly pond, but he's a Phil Antipode philanthropist. He's gonna watch Politico next week, and if he feels like he feels like he will let Politico wrestle him in Mexico. All right, because he's not personal, MVP joins in to say that it's just business. The group is interrupted by the arrival of Speedball Mike Bailey, Commander, and Kevin Knight, and Commander gives outside giving out to MJF for disrespecting Melissa Cole, Mexico, and him. He yells at MJF in Spanish, some of which seems to translate to him calling out the former world champion Bailey and says the Hurt Syndicate wants the beast. There, these three are some international killers. This gets a laugh before Kevin Knight cuts and calling out her syndicate to get in on tonight in the Mile High City. MVP asks if that's what they want before saying they haven't earned it. If that's what they like, an opportunity against the tag team champions, why prove it by entering it? By earning it. With that, with that, they walk off as LFI makes their way out. All right, we get a look back at what happened on Collision as LIF head down to the ring to get this trios match on the way. That was a good segment by the Hurt Syndicate. All right, so we get Valkyrie and John Noble Rush and John Noble Leo Rush the Beast Mortaros Rush the Beast Mortaros and Drelistico versus Kevin Knight, Speedball, Mike Bailey, and Commander. And this was a 6-man tag team match. This was a fun tag team match. Knight and Rush start things off before things break down into chaos, which just as quickly spills out of the ring. Bailey lays into Motaros and Commander is sent to the ring post, and Rush and Drelistico goes after Knight. Knight and Rush gets back in the ring as Bailey comes in for a double team, allowing Kevin to get the near fall speedball with a tag as he lays into Rush with a fear of offense, sending him to the ropes. But Macharos intervenes, allowing Rush to strike back before Macharos and Jalisco come in. They gang up on Speedball to send him to the mat, allowing Rush to get a near fall before LFI launches Bailey to the outside onto his partners, sending all three down to the floor as we go to commercial break. Back from commercial break, Commander gets a tag to send Jalisco to the mat. Knight gets involved as well. Before Commander gets a near fall, he heads to the corner, but Jalisco invades, sending him to the mat with the reverse runner and said both men are down before Knight and Rush get get to the respective tags. Both men laying their strikes. Rush catches him with a right hand and a rolling right hand to follow and sends Kevin to the corner. The referee intervenes as Rush looks for the bull horns, only to fake out Kevin Knight for a kick instead. He backs off and shows his noble nature with a pose before charging towards Knight again. But Kevin catches him catches him for a 2 count. Chaos ensues once more of LFI takes control, but they end up being sent to the outside for a dive by Bailey. Commander and Knight to a big pop from the crowd. The three get back the three get back in for a tag to Commander for a triple team in a near fall. LFI takes control again with a set of suplexes into a small drop by Mataros after a tag in a dive by Dralistico with the beast getting a near fall. Bailey with a tag this time, catching Mataros for a near fall as Dralistico breaks it up. But he and Commander fights to the outside and rush interrupts another pin attempt by Speedball. The ring clears out, allowing the Beast to hit a spear. Knight comes in for some damage before tagging in, taking down the Beast as Commander keeps Realistico and Rush down for a dive on the outside. This allows Knight to hit the UFO splash on Mataros for the pin and the win. The winner of the match by pinfall, Kevin Knight, Speedball, and Commander. The 6-man tag team match. It was fun for what it was. All right. The celebration is interrupted by the Hurt Syndicate as MVP reveals they win the prize of facing Hurt Syndicate in the trios match next week. In a preview of that right now, Hurt Syndicate heads down to the ring, are fended off by Bailey, Knight, and Commander as we get the official word on the match happening next week during Summer Blockbuster. Backstage, we hear from Daniel Garcia and Paragon as Adam Cole addresses the mutual respect between them. They agreed to a match against Don Callis' family later tonight before Garcia walks off in a graphic let us know Mascasa will do the best Wrestler Alive Open Challenge up next. So we go to commercial break. Backstage, the Partry is here as Christian Cage talks about Nick Wayne's running the best of Super Juniors in Japan. He talks about the gruel schedule and how Nick Wayne is the Ring of Honor World Television Champion, meaning he doesn't get a night off as he defends tonight. Nick Wayne says this happened before and it was light work, but Christian Cage says that he wasn't finished. This match would be a fatal 4-way. Cage tells Mother Wayne they should go find a place to lay down before deciding they want to see this one up close. We head back to ringside for Masscaster's opening challenge. Oh boy, Masscaster is a contract signing. He is the best wrestler alive, but the ref isn't signing it. He gives the paper and a pen to the ref to sign it. As Masscaster tries to get the crowd to do the chant, "Let's go, Max! You're the best wrestler alive," etc., etc., and so on. Tonight is the return of the 5 minute open challenge, asking for the timer and then to see who can last five with the best wrestler alive. Out comes Powerhouse Hobbs coming through the crowd to get this open challenge underway. So we get Masscaster best wrestler alive open challenge. Powerhouse Hobbs faces Masscaster. This was a squash match. Powerhouse Hobbs drops him immediately to force Masscaster out of the ring before Masscaster comes back in, only to face more damage force from the Powerhouse, leading to a big chokeslam of shorts on Masscaster to pick up the win. Pick up the win with 4:11 remaining. All right, the winner by pinfall, Powerhouse Hobbs. This was a squash match. Powerhouse Hobbs celebrates as we hear that our international title four-way is up next. So we go to commercial break. All right. There's been enough talk, and it's time for our main event of the Dynamite portion of Firefest. Anyways, we head to ringside as Brody King makes his entrance to a nice pop from the crowd. Out next is Claudio Cascanoli, who makes a pretty neat entrance from the staircase through the crowd to get the ring Mascara Dorado makes his way to the ring as the crowd slowly as the crowd shows some love for the luchador, but they show even more love to the arrival of Kenny Omega as the AEW International Champion makes his way to the ring. As soon as Kenny Omega enters, the match gets underway. So we get the main event of the evening. AEW International Championship Fatal 4-Way match. Kenny Omega versus Claudio Castagnoli versus Brody King versus Mascara Dorada. This was a really good Fatal 4-Way match. This match was good. All four men go at it with Brody King and Claudio Castagnoli being cleared out before Kenny Omega and Dorada trade maneuvers until Claudio rushed back into me to lay them both out. Claudio Castagnoli gets blindsided by Brody King. Both men head to the outside where Kenny Omega gets the drop on Claudio and Dorada gets the drop on the live with a dive. Claudio sends Kenny Omega to the barricade for a turning his attention to Brody King. The two trade forearms before Brody King gets sent to the barricade. Claudio sets up for a running uppercut and takes a boot instead by Brody King. Goes for a running boot, but Dorada tries to gets the drop on him, but only to be powerbomb onto Claudio Castagnoli by Brody King instead. Brody King takes control before being hit with a Snapdragon suplex by Kenny Omega onto the floor. Kenny Omega gets back in the ring, the crowd clapping to the tune of the Term- Terminator theme for a big dive from the best bout machine to the outside, Only taking control of the match for his own as we go to a full commercial break. We're back from commercial break. We see Kenny Omega and Claudio in the ring, where Kenny Omega fights back to take Claudio Castagnoli to the mat before heading up top for a moonsault onto the knee of Claudio. He sends Kenny Omega to the corner, but Kenny Omega slips away for a snapdragon suplex on Claudio, and then on Dorada, and as the luchador enters the ring, Brody King. Yeah, Brody King comes in and blocks the suplex, sending Kenny Omega to the corner before catching Dorado on his shoulders and landing a Death Valley driver of shorts, driving Dorado onto Kenny Omega. But as he turns around, Brody King gets caught by Claudio for a cover and a 2 count. Claudio goes after Kenny Omega in the corner, but Kenny Omega fights back, landing a V trigger on Claudio Castagnoli in the ring. I'm sorry, in the corner. Claudio Castagnoli fights his way up top as Brody King comes in to hit Kenny Omega, going after Claudio on the turnbuckle before Kenny Omega catches Brody King on his shoulders. Brody King blocks a one-winged angel, but Claudio lands a clothesline on Brody King, sending him to the mat hard. Covered by Brody King, but Kenny Omega breaks it up. Claudio sends Kenny Omega out of the ring before climbing the turnbuckle, but Brody King intercepts. Claudio fends him off, sending Brody King to the mat. But Dorada hits a hurricane on Claudio. He sends the Swiss Superman away before over before covering Brody King for a 2 count. Kenny Omega catches Dorado looking for a one-wicket angel, but the luchador fights him off before getting taken out by Claudio, who is laid out by Brody King for a 2 count. The crowd is electric. Yeah, the crowd is electric as Brody King and Claudio fights back to their feet. Dorado looks for a opening and goes for a crossbody to no avail, but he hits a head scissors instead before Claudio hits a boot on him. Brody King goes after Claudio, but he takes a giant swing for a moment before Dorado goes for a cover that Claudio Castagnoli breaks it up. All right. He sends the luchador away with a neutralizer before covering Brother King, but Kenny Omega breaks the pin to save his title. Dorado catches Kenny Omega for a near fall before Claudio rolls him up for a 2 count. Dorado gets out of the gets out by Claudio Castagnoli by hitting a head scissor, diving him into the mat. All the same, and the crowd is cheering him on. He goes to the ropes for her Hurricanrana and the cover, but Kenny Omega breaks it up just in time. Claudio Castagnoli goes after Dorado, but it's sent over the top rope to the outside, allowing the luchador to hit a shooting star press off the top rope and to the outside. Where I'm sorry, back. He runs back in the ring, dodging a clothesline before taking Brother King out on the outside. He goes to the top rope, but gets caught by the champion, who lands the one ringed angel for the win. The winner by pinfall and still your international champion, Kenny Omega. This was a good fatal 4-way match for the international championship. This match was good. All right, it says Kenny Omega Kenny Omega celebrates in the ring as MJF ends the AEW Dynamite fees for Fighter Fest. And I make the hot tag to Jerome Whelan on the recap. Thanks Alex tagging in for the Collision Firefest feeds on on MJF and TBS. Alright, it says Collision Firefest. We go backstage with Ricochet saying he is not competing in this crappy town as he will be scouting for talent that he will give in everything they got. The music of Will Ospreay hits has to be underway for the first match of the night for the Collision Firefest proportion. Tony Schiavone and Nigel McGuinness are now on commentary. Next up is the music for CRU, and Leo Rush makes his way to the ring with Action Adrenaline. So we get Will Ospreay versus Leo Rush, and this was a pretty good match right here. The fans are fired up as the bell rings. Leo Rush is outside the ring getting booed as a big Will Ospreay chant starts. Leo Rush hits the ring as both men runs the ropes. Leo Rush slaps Will Ospreay and then goes to the ropes. Will Ospreay comes back, chopping chopping Leo Rush. Will Ospreay gets Leo Rush in a size clash, but Leo Rush counts before he can be dropped. Leo Rush rolls out of the ring as the referee begins a 10 count. Will Ospreay rolls to the outside, grabbing Leo Rush before he can get back in the ring. Will Ospreay is on the apron, is taken down by Leo Rush, then hits the ring and runs the ropes and takes down Will Ospreay takes Will Ospreay on the floor. So we go to commercial break. Back from commercial break, Leo Rush is on the back of Will Ospreay, trying a sleeper on Will Ospreay, who backs up against the ropes to break the hold. Will Ospreay chops Leo Rush in the throat, sending him down to the mat. Will Ospreay picks up Leo Rush and spins him around, dropping him to the mat. Will Ospreay covers Leo Rush for a 2 count. Will Ospreay goes for a kick, but Leo Rush ducks it. Leo Rush is up in a Leo rushes up and runs the ropes, but Will Ospreay catches him as Leo Rush turns into a cutter. Leo Rush covers Will Ospreay, who kicks out at 2. We get a Leo Rush suck chance. Leo Rush grabs Will Ospreay and lays right hands into his forehead. Leo Rush climbs the top rope as Will Ospreay is up, but Leo Rush kicks him in the face. Will Ospreay fires back with a cutter on Leo Rush, covers him, but Leo Rush won't stay down for the 3. Will Ospreay goes for the hidden blade, but Action Andretti caused the distraction. Leo Rush rolls to the floor as Will Ospreay leaps over to the ropes, taking down both of CRU. The action is back in the ring as Leo Rush drops Will Ospreay with a DDT and then comes off the top rope with a huge frog splash on Will Ospreay and covers him, but Will Ospreay won't stay down. As referee checks on Will Ospreay, Leo Rush has a chain. The referee catches it as it allows Will Ospreay to catch it. Leo Rush drops him with a Styles Clash for the 3 count. The winner by pinfall, Will Ospreay. This was a good match. It says after the match, Action Andrade attacks Will Ospreay from behind. CRU double team Will Ospreay with the neck brace. The music of Hangman Adam Page hits as he makes his way to the ring. Leo Rush takes off as Hangman Adam Page pushes Action Andrade, but this is saved by Leo Rush to avoid a buckshot lariat. Hangman Adam Page checks on Will Ospreay and helps him up. The both fists bump as Will Ospreay music starts up again. Hangman Page grabs his microphone. He says if Will Ospreay has his back, he will have his. Hangman Page says he wants to make one thing clear. He is his own man and he doesn't need help to win the world championship, not anymore, especially from the worst man to ever walk the planet. He says he doesn't need help from the man that will go after his family for his own glory. Hangman Page then says he will never need or accept him from Tony Schiavone, accept him from Swerve Strickland. Page says he will ride into Texas and defeat John Moxley. He will hold the title high above his head for all the fans of all Texas. Page turns around and John Moxley is standing behind him. Both men stare each other down as Maria Shafir, Claudia Cascone, and Rilla Yuta out through the crowd. Will Ospreay comes down with chairs and hands one to Hangman Page. Claudio grabs chairs but John Moxley calls them off as they leave through the crowd. We go to Lexi Nair, Kyle Fletcher, and Kanushka to catch a Callis. Don Callis says that Bandito has cost him a lot of money. Don Callis tells Bandito to bring the Outrunners. Don Callis then introduced Hekuro, Hek, Hekuro, Hekuro to the Don Callis family as Kyle Fletcher mocks him from behind. Next up is the music of Atlantis Jr. and Templaro as they head to the ring. FTR music pops on next as the former tag champs along with Stokely go to the ring. So we get FTR Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler versus Atlantis Jr. and Templaro. And this tag team match right here, this was a decent tag team match. Alright. The bell rings. Yeah, the bell rings as we are underway. Atlantis Jr. puts out his hand to Cash Wheeler for a handshake, but Cash Wheeler won't do it. Cash Wheeler takes down Atlantis Jr. as he is up. Both men lock up with Atlantis Jr. turning it into a headlock. Cash Wheeler gets out of the hole. Atlantis Jr. rolls up Cash Wheeler for only a 2 count. Cash Wheeler and Atlantis Jr. lock up hands as Cash Wheeler makes the tag to Dax Harwood. Temporal Temporal is tag in. Both men lock up, but Dax Harwood quickly turns it into a armbar. Temporal Temporero gets out of the hole. Dax Harwood jaws at Temporero and shows him only to be met with a kick. Temporero covers Dax Harwood only for a 2 count. Dax Harwood puts out his hand for a handshake, but Temporero grabs it and chops Dax Harwood. Both men runs to the ropes as Dax Harwood is taken down. Temporero takes down FTR as Atlantis Jr. comes in. They send FTR to the floor. All 4 men fight to the floor. Temporero double team Dax. Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler is down on the other side. Temporero holds up Dax Harwood on the top turnbuckle. Cash Wheeler is Cash Wheeler is as Temporero takes down Dax Harwood while Cash Wheeler, who is now illegal, hits from behind. Alright, so we go to commercial break. Back from commercial break, Dax Harwood chops Temporero, sending him down. It was noted on commentary that Tony Khan has a huge announcement right before the main event match. Atlantis Jr. and Temporero sends FTR to the floor, followed by a double team as they leap through the ropes, connecting on Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler. Back in the ring, the Luchadors double team Dax Harwood. Atlantis Jr. his Dax Harwood with the cutter. Temporero covers Dax, but he kicks out at 2. Cash Wheeler grabs Atlantis Jr. to the floor as Dax Harwood covers Temporero only for a 2 count. Temporero rolls up Dax for a near fall. Cash, Cash Harwood made a blind tag. He comes in, but is sent to the corner. Temporero and Atlantis Jr. double team Cash Wheeler. Atlantis Jr. is sent to the floor. Temporero covers Cash, but he kicks out at 2. Cash is down and Atlantis Jr. is up on the top rope, but Dash Harwood pushes him off. Cash Harwood, Cash nails Temporero and covers, holding him down to get the win. The winner by pinfall FTR. This was a decent tag team match. After the match, Stokely says he has something important to say to the fans. Boo him loudly. Cash tries to get the crowd to shut up. Stokely says it's a shocker. FTR wins again as they have won the most matches. It doesn't matter what company or country you are from. Only falls to FTR. Dax grabs a mic and says the greatest tag team of all time is trying to speak. Dax says that Denver had their chances, but not now. Top guys out. Commercial break. Back from commercial break, we get a riches for Tariq the Killer who debuted on last week's Dynamite. Up next is the music of Hegro and Kanushka to catch Kyle Fletcher with Don Callis are out next. Next up is the Outrunners. Lost Outrunners who are wearing masks. Bandito comes out next as the Ring of Honor World Champion has a big ovation. Alright, so we get Bandito and the Outrunners. Lost Outrunners versus Don Callis family. Hikaru, Kanusuke, Takeshita, and Kyle Fletcher. And this 6-man tag team match, this was okay 6-man tag team match for what it was. Alright. Hikaru and Bandito start off as the bell rings. Hikaru takes down Bandito and grabs his leg. Bandito breaks the hold as he takes down Hikaru. Bandito grabs Hikaru as he stands down. Bandito comes off the top rope, taking down Hikaru, who comes back, putting chokehold on Bandito. The Outrunners come in, but are held off by Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher. The Outrunners fight back as Bandito runs the ropes, but is caught by Hikaru and drops on his back. Hikaru then hits the ring and runs the ropes, taking down Bandito on the floor. Kyle Fletcher takes out Bandito on the floor in the ring. Hikaru grabs the arm of Truth Magna and then sending him to the opposite corner. Back from commercial break, Bandito is on the floor as Takeshita keeps him from getting the tag, getting in the ring. Truth tags and Trouble Floyd taking down Kyle Fletcher and Hikaru. Takeshita comes in but is dropped by Floyd as the fans go crazy. Turbo is up on the top rope, walks the rope, sending Hikaru down. Bandito recovers its tag in. Bandito kicks Hikaru as both men roll each other up for several near falls. Both men take each other down with a shotgun drop kick. Takeshita is tagged in and clears the ring out. The Outrunners. Takeshita picks up Bandito, spins him around, and then drops him for a Blue Thunder Bomb. Takeshita covers him for only a 2 count. The Outrunners double team Kyle Fletcher and Bandito comes down with a huge frog splash. Bandito covers him, but Takeshita and Hikaru break it up. The pin attempt. Kyle Fletcher takes down Bandito and sends the Outrunners to the floor. Takeshita and Hikaru and Kyle Fletcher triple team Bandito. Outrunners are in as Bandito takes out Hikaru on the floor. Kyle Fletcher is down as the Outrunners go for a double bionic elbow, but it's stopped by Takeshita. Kyle Fletcher picks up Floyd and hits him with a big brain buster and covers him for the win. The winner by pinfall, Don Callis family, Hercule, Kanusuke, Takeshita, and Kyle Fletcher. This was a okay tag team match, 6-man tag match. This was okay for what it was. All right. Backstage, Penelope Ford and Megan Bain have NJ. Suddenly, Tay Mello returns wearing face paint to make the save. We get a pull apart brawl on the stage. So we go to commercial break. Back from the break, we get backstage with Billy Gunn and Anthony Balance talking to Lexi Nair. Anthony Balance makes a challenge to take on Kyle Fletcher at next week's Summer Blockbuster. All right. Next up is the music of Ricochet. He makes his way out wearing a robe on his backwards. He makes his way to the ring and jaws with the fans at ringside before making his way to the commentary table. The music of Sammy Guevara is out first as we get ready for the Ring of Honor World TV title Fatal 4-Way match. Next up is Lee Johnson and Blake Christian. AR Fox is out next. Finally, the champion and Nick Wayne is out next with Mama Wayne and Christian Cage. So we get the next match: Ring of Honor World Television Champion Fatal 4-Way match. Nick Wayne versus Sammy Guevara versus Lee Johnson and AR Fox. And this match right here, this was a this was a this was a solid fatal 4-way match. What it was, the bell rings as we are underway. This would be challenging to keep up with AR Fox sending Lee Johnson to the floor, and as Sammy Guevara also sent Nick Wayne to the floor. As Sammy Guevara tries for a then AR Fox, Nick Wayne comes in and kicks Sammy Guevara, sending him to the floor. Lee Johnson grabs Nick Wayne out of the ring. AR Fox takes down Lee Johnson on the floor. In the ring, Sammy Guevara connects with a big drop kick on Nick Wayne, sending him to the floor. Sammy Guevara takes flight, landing on AR Fox on the floor, and then gets back in the ring. It takes flight, taking out Nick Wayne on the floor. Sammy Guevara climbs the ropes, but Lee sends him to the floor, and then takes flight and lands on Sammy Guevara on the floor. AR Fox leaps off the ring post and lands on Nick Wayne. Blake Christian takes down AR Fox. All right, so we go to commercial break. Back from commercial break, Nick Wayne blindsides Sammy Guevara for only a 2 count. Sammy Guevara takes down Nick Wayne, followed with a big knee to the face. Sammy Guevara covers him, but Lee Johnson breaks it up, breaks the pin attempt. AR Fox comes in, sending Sammy Guevara to the floor. AR Fox misses a kick as Nick Wayne comes in and hits a dragon suplex on Lee Johnson. AR Fox takes down Nick Wayne and then pump kicks him. AR Fox then drops him with a standing suplex. AR Fox drops Lee Johnson, who is sitting on the ropes. AR Fox sits up on the top rope and takes AR Fox down. Takes fight takes takes flight with a huge swanton dive on Lee Johnson, Nick Wayne, and Sammy Guevara. AR Fox goes in the ring as Nick Wayne comes in and hits a spin kick on AR Fox and then picks him up and spins him around and drops him and covers him to retain. The winner by pinfall is still your Ring of Honor World Television Champion, Nick Wayne. This was a solid fatal 4-way match. The commentaries team The commentaries team runs down to current lineup for next week's 4-hour summer blockbuster on TBS and Max. This music of the Toxic Spider, the killer hits as she makes her way out and down the ring. All right, so we get the Toxic Spider, the Killer versus Lady Frost squash match. The bell rings. We are underway. The Killer kicks Frost and then sends her to the corner. The Killer kicks Frost in the side of of the head. What's that? The killer ties up Frost as the referee calls for the break. The killer jaws at the referee. Frost kicks the killer and then charges at her, but the killer gets a foot up. The killer then runs and nails Frost with a big running boot, following up with a second Frost. Following up with a second, Frost tries to fight back. Frost runs the ropes, but it's met with a huge fist by the killer. Frost is up as Takela connects with a big spear and applies the death trap on Frost for the win. The winner by pinfall, the Toxic Spider Takela. This was a squash match. After the match, Takela grabs Frost and applies the death trap. Queen Amnata runs down to make the save as Takela heads out of the ring. So we go to commercial break. All right. Back from the break, back from the break, backstage is Amada calling out the color, saying she is the only African queen in Africa. They stomp on spiders. Amada challenges the color next week's summer blockbuster. All right, we get a recap of Kenny Omega and Okada physically in ring competition from early in the night. The announcement is Kenny Omega versus Okada. Winner take all in Texas. The contract signing will be next week. Next up is our main event of the night. Daddy Magic and Don Callis are on commentary. So we get Josh Alexander, Lance Archer, Brad Beretta, and Rocky Romero versus Daniel Garcia and Paragon, Adam Cole, Kyle Riley, and Roderick Strong. And this 6-man tag team match, it was a 6-man tag team match. It was okay for what it was. Roger Strong, Romero started things off. Romero chop, chop Strong. Adam Cole is tagging. Romero tags in Cole and hits Cole with a right. Cole then takes down Trent with a neck breaker and covers him only for a 2 count. Trent tags in Josh Alexander. He takes he takes down Kyle Riley as he comes in and then covers him for only a 2 count. Daniel Garcia is tagging. He then lays big right onto Josh Alexander. Lance Archer and Romero. Lance Archer is able to come back and take down Daniel Garcia. Back from commercial break, Adam Cole pump kicks Josh Alexander and then follows up with a black stabber. Adam Cole covers Josh Alexander only for a 2 count. Roger Strong sends Romero over the barricade. Roger Strong sets RPG Vince on the chair as Kyle Riley comes off the apron, landing on Romero and Trent Beretta. Back in the ring, Josh Alexander German suplexes Adam Cole and covers him only for a 2 count. Adam Cole then connects with a Panama Sunrise on Josh Alexander. Lance Archer comes in, but is double teamed by Kyle Riley and Roderick Strong. They then send Romero to the floor. Daniel Garcia tags in Adam Cole, and he and Trent Beretta exchange blows. Adam Cole picks up Trent Beretta, but he escapes the hole and delivers a half and half on Adam Cole. Trent Beretta celebrates, and he is nailed. He's nailed with a thirst kick by Adam Cole. Yeah, he's nailed with the thirst kick by Adam Cole. Romero is tagged in. Adam Cole super kicks Romero and then Lance Archer off the apron. Adam Cole hits the boom on Romero to get the win for his team. The winner by pinfall, Daniel Garcia and Paragon, Adam Cole, Kyle Riley, and Roger Strong. This was a solid man. This main event match was okay for what it was. Anyway, it says after the match, Kyle Fletcher and Kanushka Takeshka come out to help Romero and Trent Beretta as the show goes off the air. Alright, so we get Dynamite, Firefest, quick results, grudge match, non-title match. AEW World Champion John Moxley defeated Mark Briscoe. AEW Women's World Champion Tony Storm and Mina Sakura defeated Scott Blue and Julia Hart. Kevin Knight, Speedball, Mike Bailey, and Commander defeated La Falcon and Gorbano. Rush the Beast, Motaros, and Dralistico. Masscasters, best wrestler alive open challenge. Powerhouse Hobbs defeated Masscaster squash match by itself. AEW International Championship Fatal 4-Way match. Kenny Omega defeated Claudio Cascanoli, Brother King, and Mascara Dorada. Good main event match. So Collision Fire Fast quick results. Uh, um, Will Ospreay defeated Leo Rush, which that match was good. FTR Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler defeated Atlantis Jr. and Templaro. Decent match. Don Kyle's family Hikaru Konusuke Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher defeated Bandito in the Outrunner squash match. Ring of Honor World Television Championship Fatal 4-Way match. Nick Wayne defeated Sammy Guevara and Lee Johnson and AR Fox. So this was a okay match for what it was. Then Toxic Spider defeated the Toxic Spider. The Kala defeated Lady Frost squash match. And then Daniel Garcia and Paragon and Adam Cole, Kyle Riley, and Roger Strong defeated Josh Alexander, Lance Archer, and Trent Beretta and Rocky Monroe, the Don Collins family. That was a okay tag team match for what it was. And AEW Dynamite goes off the air. All right, let me get my opinion what I think about AEW Dynamite. Now AEW Dynamite was a decent show, and I give it a 6 out of 10. But anyway, if you guys enjoy my AEW Dynamite review on highs, make sure you guys please watch the video from all the way from the beginning to all the way towards the end. Hit that like button, subscribe to my channel for more wrestling content I do on the channel where I give you guys the full review, not the half my review. Follow my social media down below in the description, and go check out my WWE NXT review on highs, and also go check out my WWE Raw review on highs that I did on the channel. And I'll see you guys tomorrow on Twitch where I play some Throwback Thursday Capcom Fighting Collection 2 on Twitch. And then Friday I may not do SmackDown review. And I'm gonna stream Friday on Twitch. Now, yeah, I'm gonna stream Friday on Twitch before I do my SmackDown review on highs. I might as well just do my SmackDown WWE SmackDown review on highs. Yeah, I'm gonna stream on Twitch Friday before I do my WWE SmackDown review and highlights. So you guys gonna get a live stream on Twitch for tomorrow and Friday before I do my WWE SmackDown review and highlights. So you guys gonna get a Twitch on Thursday, just like you're gonna get a Twitch on Friday before I do my WWE SmackDown review and highlights. All right, this your boy Snatch Giant TV. Have a great night. Stay safe and always stay positive. Kept your crew, kept your kings, kept your club. Too sweet. I'm out of here. Gang. Mwah. Bang. Too sweet. Gang.